Alright, so first of all, I left my main recording mic in my vehicle. It's a microphone I used for my action camera as well recording, and I was using my action camera yesterday and I forgot to bring the microphone back in, and now my partner has my car. So I'm using a headset microphone. It should be okay for quality, but if you have any problems or if you can't hear me well or whatever, just let me know. Today I will be working on updating my vitals canvas. So I actually made a vitals canvas. I made the art, which was all of one image, and I actually wired pretty much all of it up already, and you can see now I have 100 health, and whenever I lose all my health it goes away and a respawn button appears. So what I need to do is, well, apparently fix that because that's no bueno. So first I need to fix that, and then I need to lose a little bit of health at a time to make sure that the button or the vitals canvas is working, and that shouldn't be too hard. First I'm going to take a look at whatever I broke on the respawning. Alright, let's see what's going on here. I also changed around a bit of my events and stuff, so that's probably what's going on here. Alright, so I don't have a reference to my player spawner. Well, that's apparently the problem. Yep, okay, I know what's going on already with this, so I'm just going to do... let's do... I feel like I want to do is just a tiny bit different, so I'm going to actually do class client instance, and oh, okay, uncomment that. Like I said, I was doing some work, so I probably broke some stuff, but this should be a pretty easy fix. Going to use action, and I want to do client instance, passing it out on client instance. What am I using for my local player announcer? I just want to keep it kind of the same. Okay, instance updated. This is basically going to replace my local player announcer. You know what? Let's just use what I have already, not reinvent the wheel. A little lost, trying to remember where I just were. Here we go. Okay. So this is actually on my client instance script, so whenever that spawns, I'll get this dispatched. And since this is at the end of the execution order, it will always call after everything is initialized. I just need to do client instance CI, and I actually already did this, I think, last video, but I broke it on off screen, so just going to put it in real quick. Alright, that should fix that. So let me go ahead and try losing my health again and then respawning. Okay, bam, bam. Still broken. What did I do? Gotta be something really small. Also for the recoil, I really wanted to use my smooth camera shaker asset to... Okay, so I got the call, it's just this isn't being assigned. I really wanted to use my smooth camera asset for the recoil, which would work really well for when the weapon goes up and down, because the shakes always reset to a 0 offset. So that would keep, if I wanted to use like IK for example and move the hands up and down, that'd be great. But that wouldn't be good for the camera because it would always reset the camera right back to the same spot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in some like test code, just to make sure I can add outside influences to the camera. And then I think I'm going to actually work on making my smooth camera asset usable for this scenario. Okay, so that's not null, and this apparently is probably not null, but the player spawner might be null. Let me just take a look at that. Shouldn't be, because a local player announcer is supposed to always fire last, but it's not apparently. So I wonder if something got reset. Nope. Interesting. Maybe Mirror does not care about execution order. Oh, it does care about execution order. I'm just being a little dense. I forgot to uncomment this line. So now we should be good. I'm going to just uncomment that and make magic. Oh, hey, sorry, didn't see your message. I got caught up trying to fix stuff real quick. Can't get the live stream to show on your YouTube app. Only finding a link. Did you make it public? It's supposed to be public. Let me check. Thank you for letting me know. Appreciate it. So now if I press K, my character goes down and respawn works, and I got my canvas right now for vitals, which looks like it's not really doing anything because it's just going away as soon as I respawn. So I need to actually take a little bit of health at a time just to test it. So let's go over to my health script where I have some test code here. I'm not going to deplete health when I press K. Instead, I'm going to make another command where I will... You know what I've never tried? I've never tried overrides with mirror, where if I can deplete like a certain amount of health. Let's try that real quick. It's okay, you just missed me being silly. Not doing things. Um, this should actually be RPC deplete health too, but I'll change that in a second. Doesn't really matter. Okay. Let's see what happens. A5, how's it going? Let's do a quick test. I hit play. You can work now. Well, that answers that question. You cannot have overrides in Mirror. I was wondering, and I have found out. So let's change this back to deplete health and keep this at remove. And an RPC needs to be deplete, and then another one would remove. And I think we're okay at this point. Once I fix this here. That's kind of unfortunate. It'd be really cool if you could do override like commands and stuff and RPCs and whatnot. But apparently you cannot. It's gonna take a second because Weaver has to figure out what I just did. Alright, well that still killed me like instantly. Let me go to my canvas real quick and see what's going on. So it's still removing all of my health. Okay. I'm going to assume that this is the one being called. Want to make sure. And if I do remove health, it might actually be getting called twice too, because one on the server and one on the client. So what I'm going to do, just to make sure, is I will do if base.isServer return, because it already executed once on the server. Taking a quick look, see what could be going up. I forgot to update that. Okay, so there's actually two things. The bug brought my attention to it. Take another peek. Okay. Awesome. Alright, so it removed 30 health, and my life bar turned red. It wasn't supposed to turn red right away. It was supposed to turn red if the percent was low enough. Let me fix that real quick. I imagine it is something really, really small. I need to close out some of this stuff because it's just getting a little confusing. Okay, so if health percent is less than 0.25, new color should be this, which is basically a red color. I'm going to actually change it to 7.5. Otherwise, if health percent is greater than that, it should be this color, which is black with a little bit of translucency. I'm going to hit play real quick, and one thing I'm looking for is to see if my health percent bar is right. So that's not. So that tells me right away that the percentage is wrong. I might be sending in the wrong data. So let me go to this. Old health, current health, maximum health. Right. Old health, current health, maximum health. Okay, so I guess let's see what's coming in. Oh, I think I already know what's going on. I have a feeling. Yeah, so the values are coming in, right? What's going on though is I'm not casting to a float. Because these are integer values. So it's returning 0. Now if I do it, it should be right. I have this somewhere else too. I need to... Here we go. I think once we do this, it'll wrap up the health canvas and it should be working. 70, 40, goes red, perfect, and dead. Great, one more time. Awesome. Let's get rid of this debug. And let's move on to the camera recoil. So first thing, I suppose I need to go to my looking script because that is what controls the looking direction. Let's see, pitch rate, look direction, X. So this is where I changed the pitch into update looking, and I'm going to need to be able to change it using recoil as well. And I'm also going to I'm also going to have to move the camera left or right. Well, that's interesting. I have to think about how I want to do that because I don't want to just like rotate the player. I don't think that'd be very good. I guess the recoil would eventually have to settle, right? Maybe... Just trying to think this through. Obviously, I can't rotate the character from recoil because that's dumb. I'd have to only rotate the camera and offset the camera a little bit, right? So that would mean changing the look direction to some degree. Let's go ahead and make a new method. Call it add look direction. All right. So I also probably need to clamp the pitch still. Let's think about this. I'm probably going to actually need a new variable where I will do private vector3 look direction offset to apply towards look direction. I'm not entirely sure how this will play out if the character is like looking all the way up already, because if I try to flip, if they're like looking all the way up when they fire their gun, it's probably going to flip the camera and look kind of funny. We'll likely have to revisit that at some point, but not right now. Okay. Now let's go to my weapon handler, where I will add some recoil, and it'll probably not work the first time because this is going to be complicated. I'm going to, I suppose, just do some hard-coded recoil to start. So let's see. This is for client, and if client can fire, I'm going to go to fire, where they fire, and this actually fires the raycast if they're on the server and whatnot. I suppose I'd probably want to add recoil here as well and do it at the bottom. Also, another issue is that this recoil is going to be like instant. It's going to snap to it. So I probably want to smooth that out at some point. But for now, I'm going to just have it snap to the recoil value. You know, I think anyone here play first-person shooter games? Does the recoil eventually settle back down to like where the player was aiming? I've played so many of them, and some reason I can't remember if that's how they behave or not. Huh. For now, we're just going to do it one way until I get some feedback on that, or maybe watch a couple clips or do some testing myself. So let's, yeah, I mean, I feel like it would, right? It makes sense, but I can't recall it all for the life of me if it does. If it does reset, that would make life a lot easier. But let's get this going first. So I guess I'm going to do, I need to make this an update. And I only need to do it on client. And I only need to do it if they have authority for now. I know some it doesn't recover, but I was just thinking how if you rotate your character, that's probably going to be really funny looking. It might be kind of annoying. But also what happens if you try to compensate and you try to turn your character at the same time and then it just resets? Wouldn't that break it as well? That probably would break it. So I need to modify it. If I'm making it so it resets, I won't have to modify it, but if I'm not, I will. The problem is I have to think about this because if you try to adapt to recoil that resets, then you're probably going to move your character or rotate your character in a weird way, right? Whereas you don't really know the difference between if you're trying to turn or if you're trying to adapt to recoil. So I think I might have to make it so it doesn't reset. Yeah, it doesn't really work out very well because you won't know if the character's trying to turn or if they're trying to adapt to recoil. I think I'm going to make it so it doesn't reset for now. Let's go to my recoil code. I didn't even consider this, to be honest. Definitely something I'll have to try out. So I'm going to do a flat recoil rate to start just to make sure it's working. Let's do float distance equals, actually I don't need to do that. Magnitude equals recoil remaining dot magnitude, and I'm going to add it onto, I guess it would have to be the character rotation and looking. So this is definitely going to be a multi-part thing. This code's going to be really messy at first, so bear with me. See. Just trying to think of how I want to do this. Why don't I worry about the pitch first, because I'm probably gonna have to do this on two different things. Actually keep this code as it is. I can definitely consolidate this code later. For now, I'm just going to separate though, so just to keep it going, keep it simple for now. That's how I add pitch. I really want the recoil to reset, but I can't think of how that will play with the rotation. Like, do we think that would behave funny if they tried to like snap their rotation, or if they like tried to snap to someone else? I'm almost positive it would. Get rid of this for now. Like I said, I'm just gonna do the left and right first. So Well, it's a first-person shooter. I really don't know how other games do it, and that's probably the problem here. Is I don't think I need to, like, I don't know what the common way to go about this is. Alright, so this is going to recoil mostly to the left. I actually need to make this on the Y. Alright, so I'm not going to do this part first. I'm just going to do this for now. So let's do... I have a feeling this is going to be very broken. I think it's rotating my character, but it looks so small I can't tell. Yeah, I need to bump up the values. Let's change it to something more drastic, like let's say 10, and let's say 2, or 6. Negative 6 and 2. I was thinking negative 10, that's why I said it. But I was like, no, that's probably too much. So, okay, oh my gosh. Alright. Oh my gosh. That's not working. Um, so float magnitude equals val dot magnitude. I don't know why this is a vector 2. It should not be a vector 2. Recoil remaining dot magnitude times rate times magnitude. Yeah, I don't think that's going to fly in any scenario unless like maybe you want to spin bot and that's what you're going for. And the reason it's doing that is because the recoil is it's adapting too slowly. Like not adding it on quick enough, which means the rate is too slow. Let's do like 360. Also, another issue is I didn't subtract it. The recoil was just adding up and adding up over and over and over again. Okay, let's try it now. Oh, I broke it. Oh, snap. Okay. Alrighty then. I did a number on that. So I should probably actually just be adding rotation and not setting the Euler angles. Let's try this again. Okay. So it's throwing errors. Val is probably nan, which means probably 0 or close to 0. Find out what's going on exactly. All the way up before I got the errors. Okay. Something weird happened here. Infinity. Okay. So maybe back to where it was before I decided to spinbot. Alright, I'm not getting nan things anymore, and it is moving a little bit. So those values were obviously way too high. Go to this and go to this. Yes, this project will be available to my supporters on any tier, and it's basically pay what you want. I'm going to comment out this code because there's something in the math here that's being really stupid. I'm not doing it right. That's the stupid part, is it's me. So I'm going to just comment this out and just apply to recoil instantly and see what happens. Who would have thought, like, of all the dumb things I get hung up on, recoil would be one of them. Alright, so it's working. Yeah, that's working. I just need to smooth it out. I need to also add pitch to it. I'm not going to do the smoothing because when I make that change to my smooth camera shaker, it should do the smoothing for me. So right now I'm going to make it so that I can change pitch as well. And that's going to have to adjust the looking. Let's go back here, and pitch is on the X. So we'll just say float y equals random.range -0, we'll just say 1, -1 and 0.4f, so it's more likely to go to the left. And I'm going to first rotate the y, and then I need to add the pitch for the looking. I don't actually have a reference to that, I don't think. No, so I'm just going to do it very sloppily right now. Is that a word? Sloppily? Sloppily, I don't know. That's what I'm going to do though. It's going, yeah, I guess it would be a word, huh? He's sloppily, it just doesn't feel right though. It seems like a really awkward way to say that. Add look direction pitch, and I need to do another random here. Going to be negative value in pitch is usually up, so I'm going to actually need to make this higher, and it's never going to recoil down, and I want it to be fairly consistent. All right, let's see what happens. All right, that's pretty good actually. It's behaving as I would expect, but what happens when I actually hit the top? It just doesn't really recoil up anymore. I guess that's fine. I'm not too worried about it. I could start to inverse recoil if it's near the top. Maybe like if you get like right here, it just kind of, or if you know, if you're kind of aiming up here, it bounces between up and down. But I'm not really too concerned about that right now. I think this is fine if it just kind of goes left or right when you're at the very top. So I need to now manipulate my camera shaker to support this. So let me make a quick backup, even though this code is just plain awful. I still want the draft to be there just in case I need to reference it. So I'm making a backup off screen here. Drafted recoil. I also fixed player spawner / respawning not working via gameplay canvases. Okay. So that's up. Now there's two things that I need to consider with my camera shaker. Is one, it always resets to 0 because you don't really, if you're using a camera shaker for like drops or whatever, like boulder drops, or if you want to, like for example, if I am shaking this plant here, I don't want this plant leaves to just like fly off into oblivion. They always reset to 0, and so does the camera as well. So I need to first make it so that the recoil doesn't reset, so the shake doesn't reset. It's like a one-time kick, because currently it goes up and then back down. Also, another thing I probably have to do is I need to make it so that there's actually like a special setting for kicking. So right now, if I were to, I have it, it's right here. Right now, basically, if I were to start a shake, I can specify the seed, and if I start it at 0.5, then it automatically starts everything in the center and then goes up. Basically what that means is that the X would be, it would be like 0, and then it would climb up to 0.15. But the thing is with shakes, is that they run on a duration, whether it's unlimited or total. So what will happen is once it reaches the end of that spectrum, or the seed, once it goes all the way up, the seed will start going the other way. And currently there's no way to stop that, because the seed would just start bouncing. It'll go from one way to the other over and over, and that's based on the roughness level. So what I need to do is I need to actually make it so that I can design it so that the seed just only goes up one way, and maybe comes back down just a little bit if I want. I probably won't make it come back down if I'm using recoil that doesn't reset. So I guess I just need to make it go all the way back up. With that said, random seed, I need to add that code in. So first I need a test scene, I suppose. So create. Actually, I'm just going to create a new scene. Recoil test. Open scene. Now this is set to 2D. I don't want that. I do want a cube in here. And I guess I'll put it in front of the camera, wherever that camera is looking at. Okay, perfect. So I see the cube, and I'll just show you what I mean by doing a really quick shake. I'm not actually going to shake the camera on this. So right now the magnitude is 1. This is literally just a multiplier. It can be anything you want. I'm going to slow the roughness down to like 3 goes. Total duration's 4, that's fine. Positional influence, I'm going to just make it go up and down for this example. I'm not going to add any rotation. I'm not going to add any noise. The noise will be really good for recoil too. So I don't know if any of you are familiar with my smooth camera shaker and quote object shaker, because it can actually shake objects too. The magnitude noise is the variance you want between shakes. So this is actually really good for recoil, because I can make it recoils randomized a little bit. I also have this invertible axes option where it will randomly flip an axis, which again is really good for recoil. And you can also control this via code as well. And kind of sounding like a salesman here, but I also just put the asset on sale for $5, and I have a demo video up. So if you need a camera shaker, this is, I promise you, the absolute best on the market. I'm not even just saying that because it's mine. I put so many features into this. Oh, and one thing, it does work with virtual cameras. I get asked that a lot, and I haven't actually updated a page for that yet, but it does work with virtual cameras. Okay, enough with the sales pitch. Now I'm going to show you, or rather, I'm going to work on getting this up. So to my camera, I'm going to add my recoil test. And under recoil test, I'm going to take off camera and canvases because I only want it to shake objects. And I'm going to add a camera, shakeable transform. And the shaker type is camera shaker. This basically means it listens to shakes on the camera and it reacts to shakes on the camera. If I change it to object shaker, then it looks for an object shaker on this particular object or in its parent, and basically you can apply shakes to certain objects or the camera and have objects shake in response. But yeah, all right, so you see how it's going up and down. Now one thing to start is, or one thing to notice is, it starts on 0, but watch when it shakes, it'll go up above 0 and then below 0. You can see that's going up and down in values, and then it ultimately resets to 0. So I need to make it so it only goes one direction and then stops. So let's see. I guess I need to make that in the shake data. So let's open that script up. All right. To start, I'm just going to add some stuff up top. I'm going to do really messy here. Public bool recoil equals false, and this is not going to be the name it's going to stick with because this is just my Visual Studio's misbehaving. Super weird. Why is it doing that? Like it was showing a link on Recoil. That's so weird. I'm just curious. If I do it again. No, that's so weird. Okay, anyway, this is temporary. I'm just going to call it is recoil, and if so, it's going to behave a little bit differently. Now, the next thing I need to do is open up my shaker instance. And when this is generated, it should, oh, it's noise data, not looking at the right thing. When this is generated, there's an option here where it uses the seed that's random, or the set one if you do. I'm going to add one more if statement. If data is recoil, data being the shake data, then seed equals 0.5, which means it will always start going up in the positive axis. I'm not going to, yeah, actually I think that'll be fine. So let's do that. Let's go back to my recoil test folder, and For rotation, I don't want to rotate it because I will be rotating the camera, but for this, I'm going to just modify the position just so you can see it better. I don't want to randomly invert Y. I meant to do that on X. Okay. So it's going to randomly invert on X. Sometimes it'll go left, sometimes it'll go right. And I'm going to probably utilize the code part of this, the API of my camera shaker in my FPS LAN, because I don't want it to always invert the X. I probably want to control it a little bit. Like I might want it to usually go to the left, but occasionally go to the right. And if I just let the shake data do it, it's kind of like a 50-50. It's not exact, but it's random, so it's going to even out more or less. I want the roughness to stay the same. I don't want it to move quicker or slower, but I will want the magnitude to range in a variance of, I'll say, 30%. That means it can go up or down in magnitude, which is basically how much the shake will occur by 30%. So you're not seeing that boolean up there, and that's because I have an editor script for this. Go to my scripts, editor, shake data editor. Move this mess over here. I just realized I was typing on my other screen and you guys could not see it. I'm so sorry. But here it is. This is the shaker instance. I know you guys weren't seeing what I was talking about, and this is the shake data, and it's still ultimately not that helpful to you because you don't really know how it works internally. So got that out of the way. Serialized property is recoil. I'm going to separate this so I can implement it later. And go ahead and draw it right at the top, I suppose. All right. Now if I go back to my recoil test, you can see it right up top. All right. So first thing first is if it's a recoil test or is recoil, it should always set a seed value of 0.5, which means the cube should always start going up. So I'm just going to adapt this real quick. I'm going to bump the roughness up to like 8, change the duration to like 1 second, and hit play. Okay, that was more roughness than I intended. Let me try that again. I thought I changed that to shake on enable, but it must be on start. It's still moving a little too fast for me to tell. I think I'm going to increase the magnitude just so I can see it go much higher. Okay, so you see there how it kind of went down before it went up. I kind of wonder if... Let me turn off this. I wonder if it's ignoring my code for the recoil check. Alright, so something's not right. Not entirely sure what it is yet. Either my camera shaker is not working right, which is bad, really bad. Or something else is going on. Yes, the project is going to be available at the end. 100% definitely available at the end. I need to figure out what's going on with the seed, because that seems to be the issue. The seed is right every time. And it seems like it's going the same way every time. So I think the seed is working. There might be something else going on though. So let's see what that could be about. I'm going to make something really simple here. And I'm going to make a private bool first whatever equals true. If first whatever debug.log I gotta do. All right, so basically I'm going to try and find out which way the offset's moving on the first push, going up. So it should basically be right at 0. I keep opening the wrong thing here. Go. Did I set that to false? And the reason I'm only doing it once is because I don't want it to spam. Yeah, so it's at 0. That's correct. So let me just change this. I know this isn't exactly development on FPS land, but it will be going towards it. I'm going to actually change this real quick too. There we go. Ah, that's weird. Wasn't it doing something different whenever I had it under start? That's weird. Okay. Thinking here. I'm just going to actually debug print the Y only. Also, could be something else entirely. Let me check something real quick. That is really weird that using on enable would change it, because that shouldn't happen at all. I kind of wonder if I have like other code in there that's inverting it. Or if maybe because a seed is 0 or 0.5, it's just not playing nice. Let's go back to this real quick. I didn't expect this to be so troublesome, to be honest. I wonder if it's because of the delta time. That shouldn't be it. No, I don't have a tutorial specifically for that, sorry. This is a multiplier, which is not at all related. The issue is coming from this, for sure. So, this is probably because I am not I might need to make changes to how the noise works. I opened the wrong project. Here we go. I'm pretty sure what's going on is that my noise generation is making this really funny. This might have to be something that I work on off camera. Because what's supposed to happen is since there's no roughness variance, it is supposed to go up and down the same amount every single time. So right now you can see it kind of goes up high and then goes down lower and then goes up a little bit and then down lower a little bit more. This is really good for shakes, but that's not supposed to happen unless there's some variance in the noise, which there's not. Something is clearly very wrong. Yeah. Could be the fade in and fade out duration, but I doubt it. All right, so it's time for me to probably call this for now. I need to work on fixing whatever that is and get that update out ASAP. It works really good for shaking, but this is not the intended behavior I expected from this. So I'm going to get that fixed, and I'm going to prioritize that because this is one of my assets and I need that bug worked out. With that said, I'm going to go ahead and end the stream, and hopefully I'll have this fixed by today or maybe tomorrow. If I'll let you guys know actually if you're in my Discord, and let me get you a link for that real quick in case you want to join. All right, so there's my Discord. If you want to join up, feel free. It's not really a support Discord. I mean, it is for my videos, but it's not really a mirror support Discord, just so you know. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and take a break and revisit this and figure out why it's being a pain right now. But thank you for watching, and have a good rest of your day.